Hi, my name is Cassie Stokes, and today I'm going to teach you how to run a class meeting. Before deciding to run a class meeting, it is fundamental as a teacher to understand your beliefs on how you think students learn and how they learn to the best of their abilities, how they engage and what is your own expectations, and are you willing to change? Or are you willing to explain your expectations and why to the children? I'm saying this because if you have your own ideas of how to run a class meeting and it's not the same expectation of the students, then they will never run smoothly, and this may lead to frustrations on both parties. Later on, I will discuss the importance of rulemaking with students. But for now, we will continue to focus on behaviours that are acceptable or not. This has been discussed in previous lectures, but I want you to think about what you feel are important attributes of a child who is engaged with learning and what they look like. Please note these down for later references. How have you come up with these ideas of what a classroom should be and what they look like and sound like? So by this, I mean, what should children be doing? Should they be sitting? Should they be listening? Are they calling out? Is there expectations that you wish children all have? For me, it has been my experience in childcare and the number of different staff I've worked with over the past 9 years that has helped me define what I like my classroom to be like. Also, the numerous readings and learning throughout my teaching degree. Bronfenbrenner and his social theory has also had a huge impact on my teaching. This means that his theory includes the wider family, community, such as school, so that's us, sports, and so many variety of different things. All have huge impacts on children and how they learn. So now that we have spoken about that, discuss this with a partner. What, if any, theorists reading in this course or past experience that have helped you decide the best way to teach? Can these ideas be changed if the children in your care don't fit into the mould you always had? So once you've discussed this, talk about what issues have come up or if there's none at all. And I hope as teachers we can all be flexible. Now let's think about the 10 principles that underpin this course and should underpin our teaching and pedagogy. So number 1 is effective teaching practice should respect children's human dignity. 2, self-regulation is preferable to external controls as it builds learner capacity. 3, children's learning is best supported when their teachers use authoritative approaches involving care and guidance. Number 4, an educational approach supports the development of pro-social behaviour. Number 5, human relationships and the effects of those relationships are the building blocks of early development. Number 6, learning environments that are predictable in which expectations are clear and scaffolding is employed best supports students' pro-social behaviour. Number 7, learning environments that have high expectations are those most likely to support students to realise their potential. Number 8, learning environments in which power is shared legitimately are those most supportive of students' learning of pro-social behaviour. Number 9, students are most likely to behave pro-socially in learning environments that involve and engage them through quality curricula. And finally, number 10, fair treatment of students results from responding to their individual needs, not equal treatment. You may be asking why are these important in running a class meeting? I feel that they are. However, it is fundamental that these principles, especially number 1, 5, 8, and 10, go back and have a look, are very, very important when planning how to incorporate a class meeting into your classroom. I say number 10 because fair treatment of students results from responding to their individual needs, not equal treatment. Now, at times, young students do not understand that this child is doing this for this reason. So even though we know the reasons behind it, sometimes in a class environment we need to tell the students why they're doing this. They may not understand, but overall it is a better way of teaching, explaining why you're doing things. I say that number 1, children's right as a human should be respected at all times, and by forming a close, respectful relationship with your children, we'll encourage them to participate. But then they also know what to expect during class meeting. I will go in further detail about this later. Number 8 has been taught that children who feel that what they say is important and listened to are more likely to participate and engage in class practices. And after all, that's what we want for class meetings, getting all children to participate in group discussions. Class meetings should not be one-sided. By this I mean class meetings are not for teachers to lecture and demoralise children or use their power to intimidate. Class meetings are for all to share. If something is happening, then by all means place it on the agenda, but ask the children to discuss the issues you might be having and come up with a solution together. Class meetings should occur daily or at least 3 times a week so that children feel that their input is listened to and is regarded highly, and anything that is bothering them will be sorted out often. The best times are in the morning or in the afternoon, where children have had time to think about what the issues are, whether that be overnight, so in the morning sessions, or in the afternoon where they've had all day to think about the discussions. And the afternoon can be a sort of a debrief about the day, and discussions can occur from this. This all does depend on your early years setting and your purpose of what a class meeting is. When running a class meeting, it is important to give clear instructions and expectations of what will happen when a class meeting is occurring. First of all, you will need to talk to the children about what a class meeting is and the purpose or goal for class meetings. These can be used for an array of different things, such as in the early years, a class meeting may be discussing what they are doing that day, what they want to play with, and who or how they are going to achieve this, and will they need help from a teacher. Meetings may take on a more formal approach, and this could be to discuss behaviours, such as situations in the classroom or events happening in the school. Meetings can take on just a "how is your day going? What have you learnt today?" type of situations too. All of them are relevant to early years and important for children to feel that like they are belonging to their classroom. If you want to have different types of meeting, it is best for the children to know who will be running each one of these, or if there is a place for all of them in the one meeting, which in early childhood is probably easier than having so many different ones because they're not going to understand which one is which and we have this one on this day. It gets a bit confusing. So usually having one meeting that covers everything is best for the early childhood setting. It is important for students to know who is leading the meetings. So some meetings may be teacher initiated, or is it different members of the class? So does that mean you will be having a committee of people that will run it, so little leaders? To me, I think that giving children responsibility for their own meetings is fantastic, and that this will give them, again, a belonging to their classroom. It is important to encourage children to think about their own personal roles within the meeting, being that a leader or an observer and then a participant. Children feel safer and more secure also if they know the role of the teacher in the meetings. Okay, now into the nitty-gritty part of running a classroom meeting. First things first, Rules need to be set and agreed upon. This may be the first meeting you have. This is where you, as a teacher, will help the students come up with a set of rules about class meetings, such as, for example, one person speaks at a time. Hand is to be raised when wanting to share. This one doesn't have to be used, but it coincides with the first one. All points of view will be accepted and listened to. Other ones is, we let others speak without interrupting. Everyone has a right to not say anything at all. We are able to disagree without being disagreeable or saying mean things to each other. When talking about bullying or other problems between students, we don't mention names. They're just a few basic ones. I'm sure your class can come up with so many more. It also needs to be spoken about what happens when children infringe on these rules and what the consequences are and how they will be implemented. In pairs, or if you're by yourself, that's fine, discuss what you think are important rules to abide by in a class meeting and why. Note this down as they may come in handy when you're out on teaching prac or when you have your own classroom in the very near future. Next, children need to know where they can write down items for the agenda. This needs to be in a place that is easily accessible to children, mostly in school age. This may not be necessary in a kindergarten meeting. I want you to write down or discuss with a peer how you think your agenda should look like. Is it formal or is it very informal with notes taken down on a piece of paper? Where will this be kept? Again, can children access these if they need to? I'm going to give an example of one that I have used in a kindergarten setting. This one was used for the morning group session, so it was an informal meeting. I do apologise if you cannot see it properly. So this is what it looks like. At the top, it says days of the week, the month, the year, the season, the weather, and they included how many children. If there was any events, any possible learning, and then what they were going to today. The rest of the sheet is blank. So with this, it was more of an informal meeting. So what they did, the teacher led the meetings most of the time. They asked lots of questions like, what do you want to do today? How and why? They also asked what they could do today that is tricky or hard learning. So that means the children were thinking about different things, not the same old things that they do every day. These questions prompted discussion and critical thinking about their day and how they wanted it to look like. The teacher was able to steer it in a certain way if needed, such as talking about behaviour or how to play correctly with certain toys. This again they discussed with the children and came up with ideas. But most of these meetings were children thinking about what they wanted to do. In older children, the deboners 6 thinking hats could be a way to promote thinking and discussion. These can help when the meeting is having to vote or come up with an answer. Deboners 6 thinking hats are, there's a red one with passion, thought and emotion. Blue one, logic, who, what, when, how. Yellow hat, positive, can-do, collaboration. White hat, facts and data, evidence, measures. Green hat, nurture, ideas, innovation. And black hat, devil's advocate, can't be done, anti-change. With these ones, it was, they can all be used at different certain times. These would be for older children who are able to make those decisions and can think why things couldn't work out. The devil's advocate doesn't have to necessarily be the teacher. It can be another child that may think, wow, that's not going to work. But as the teacher, you need to be able to focus on how they can get that point across without devaluing someone else's idea that they thought was great. I hope that some of these suggestions that I have provided with you today will help you set up an engaging and inspiring class meeting with rules and a purpose. Please enjoy the meetings and see where they lead. Thank you for listening to me today, and I hope that some of these rules have shown you that meetings can be fun and exciting and something that children look for because they love the responsibilities. Thank you.